when you first sent it to me, it was quite a different sort of film, wasn't it? The sort of base of it. It didn't have the barge element to it, or the creatures were different.
It was always set on the canals, because the idea came when I used to live by a canal, and I used to go running down the canal, and it was early in the morning and it was dark, and I was thinking, someone could grab you here, or you could go missing and no one would ever know, and all this sort of thing. And that's how it all started. But it wasn't. The difference was they were cannibals, so it was probably a bit more deliverance, that sort of thing. And then it obviously evolved once Charlie got involved.
So because of the sort of cannibal reference and everything, that's why when we were shooting Cannibal Farm, I just suddenly twigged. I saw some of the locations. I was like, one of my best friends has written this film about these cannibal creatures, and
that's how I first heard about the Barge People. I remember the moment on Cannibal Farm when we were doing all of those Texas Chainsaw Massacre vibe scenes with the blood and the sweat. And you said, there's something else that we could do similar to this. My friend's got a script called The Barge People. And my interest in it immediately was, I liked the name, I liked The Barge People. To my knowledge, there was nothing set on the canal.
I mean, I have actually I don't know if I've still got the notepad, I have got a picture of the first start of the idea on my notepad. And I think it was like the canal, and then there was like a news report talking about people going missing and stuff like that. But it kind of came from, like I said, I'm a big fan of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original one. So I kind of was inspired by that.
Do you remember when Kate kind of came to you with the idea that you should meet me, or how did that come about? How did this film end up in my lap?
You were filming Cannibal Farm, and she said, she was, obviously I knew about it. She did tell me that conversation that you had on set, and that you'd be a good fit and all that sort of thing. But it's kind of funny, the timing, because I'd been working on a rewrite of this script that I wrote based on a true story, and I'd done numerous drafts on it, because the producer director had the rights to the book. Did some more drafts on it, and it got into really good shape, and then he lost the rights to the book. Won't bore you with the details, but on that day where I had to sign something, I can't remember what I had to sign to say, basically it was done. It was the same day that I met you. Right. So it's that old saying, when one door closes, another one opens. It was quite,
What was it that made you trust me with the script? Like maybe, because I think you told me you'd had offers, other things floating out there about the script, but you decided that, what was it that made you decide, well, Charlie can get his hands on it and do it,
Well, just speaking to Kate, and I kind of trusted Kate's opinion.
I'll always big you up.
And then obviously meeting you as well, and meeting you and seeing your passion and your enthusiasm for the script, because I appreciate that you usually write your own movies, right?
Yeah, this was the first time It was the first time I'd done someone else's thing, because writing is my passion.
Yes.
Filmmaking as a career, like turning out 1, 2, 3 films a year. The writing, I'm much more open to just taking other people's writing, because the workload is so much. Like, it sucks up all your creative juices to keep writing stuff. But in an ideal world, if I had all the time in the world, writing is my favourite part of the whole process. I mean, I remember saying to you, Chris, I would read the script, and if I liked it and didn't want to change it, then we should try and make it. But if I had like 20 notes, we'd just not bother. And I remember I read it and I liked it, and I didn't want to change anything about it, because as a writer as well, like I hate it when people, everyone, even at a micro budget level, people are all trying to always come in and give you their notes and give you this and give you that. Do we need to be doing that when it's a tiny little movie? No. Just let it be someone's original vision. So for me as a director, it was a whole new challenge to look at a script, and what I was trying to think in my head, I could see what you were writing on the script, and I was always trying to think, how can I improve this, or how can I make this, make Chris watch this, like Chris in my mind as the audience. How can I make Chris watch it and, love what he's seeing? That was always what was in my mind, to really try and pull it off. But I think we were on the same page right from the get-go.
I think that's the thing, actually, is meeting you, and then after you read it, and then I think we met up again and realising yeah, he gets it. We're on the same page. Look, and I appreciate a director will come in and they're going to want changes, and I understand that and appreciate that and embrace that. And you might not always agree, but we definitely were on the same page, and including the influences as well.
Yeah.
And then I remember you did a mood board as well, and that was fantastic. But just to backtrack slightly, it was originally, I won't go again into the details, but it was in Cannes. I met this Australian producer, and it was due to that other project that I mentioned.
Right. Yeah.
And I got on well, and long story short, she read the script and loved it, and optioned it, and basically it changed. It changed a lot.
It was Australian
backpackers.
I was like low-key like disappointed at the time, because I'd read I'd read the script, and when I heard it was being handed over, obviously I was pleased for Chris, but I was like, oh, I'm never going to get to work on that anymore. Well, the budget was getting bigger. There was talk of it even being 3D at one point. And I'm like, I tell you what happened, and I like to say, I'm not going to say names or anything like that, but she arranged for she said an established writer, couldn't tell me the name of this writer, but they did a rewrite of the script without my knowledge, and she sent me the script and then told me, and my heart sank, because I'm like, well, you done this behind my back, sort of thing. So I had all the, and anyway, the rights, just the option ended, and it just fell away, and then I met you. So off the back of that, and then coming to meet you, and you just getting it, and you just being like a super low budget horror, and I was like, that's more like what it was intended to be, not this $4 million whatever movie 3D. Barge People in 3D.
Well, I feel this is a story that I just hear constantly from people, just putting their script out there, and then a year later nothing, a year later nothing, 3 years later, and it's got this attached, that attached, and you get to 5 years later, where is it?
It's just like held in limbo somewhere, isn't it?
I mean, I'm sure that people must manage to get them eventually through, but it's like 90% of the time you're hearing horror stories of things just getting stuck in development. And for me, I've actually never even attempted to even reach out with any of my ideas to go beyond that, because isn't this kind of like the magic thing everyone wants, the ability to just be able to pick your shit up and go, pick your camera up and go and just do it. Even if you don't have the money to make it perfect, at least it was done. So that was, I guess, the attitude at the time, let's just go and make this. But I remember we actually, there was 2 separate people that even when you came to me, we had 2 separate people attached for funding. Again, I won't mention names, but we had 2 different people. The first one, I remember having lunch with you and him, and he giving you all these notes, and you and me after just being, if there's a real issue with the script, fine, fix it, change that thing. But if it's just your own personal taste and you just want to get your own personal stink all over it, then just leave it. Let it be the writer's thing. You're taking the what's unique about it, and you're saturating it like all Hollywood films now.
Prior to acting, I studied and was always interested in drawing. That was what I wanted to do growing up, and you would never see me without a pad and pen in my hand. I just loved it. I was passionate about it. Did it all the time. As soon as I started studying at A-level, and teachers and everyone would come around, they'd take bits out and, oh no, try it like that, or don't do that. They change it, and they might be happy with it, but I'd look at them and be like, this isn't what I wanted to draw. And I fell out of love with it because of that reason. And you made me think of that, because you've got this creation and you hand it over to someone because they think they're going to help you, and they've just killed what it was for you. So like you say, what was the point?
This is me nowadays with script notes. I do my script, get all these script notes, and I'm reading it. Well, if when I try and then implement those notes, most of the time I'm like, but this isn't how I did it. This is how you go and write it. If you want to change it, you go and change it. Like, why do I need to be involved? It's your thing.
I think sometimes they give you notes just for the sake of notes.
Exactly. I felt that way with this guy, and then the other guy, a whole other person came on board. We'll do it for a much bigger budget. Our shoot was kind of. We actually had a game plan now, and our shoot was approaching. We knew what we were doing. We knew how we were going to fund it. This person was saying, just put that all on hold, we'll fund it, and so we had a moment where we all kind of had to sit, all 3 of us sit and discuss, are we going to trust this person? Are we going to wait for them? Are we going to wait for the fund? Or should we just do it? Just do it our way. And we just decided to just do it our way. And do you feel that was the right decision, or should we have waited for more money? Or
yeah, I do. It was the right decision, because we could still be waiting now. Which is what tends to happen a lot of the time. And I've had it. And look how many times I've like rewritten this script as well, and it got to the point where. And that's another thing that I liked about you. You just went out there and did it, I like that.
Yeah,
I feel if the door isn't open now, if someone comes along, let me have that. I could give you 10 times the budget. Okay, well, sign the deal this week and give me 10 times the budget this week. If they don't do it then, if they want you to wait months, well, you don't have it then, do you? You don't have it. So I'm not going to wait and take a chance. I'm just going to go out and do it, because 90% of the time they don't follow through with the money, No.
I mean, it was a bit stressful leading up to it, getting the money together. I mean, I won't go into those details, but it was a bit stressful.
It almost didn't. For me, it was actually especially stressful. Because we had some of the money, and we were going. Everything was moving, and then it came I think it was the day before filming. It was actually the day before filming, wasn't it? And it dawned on us. We've been ploughing on ahead, full throttle with the pre-production.
Because the actors were oblivious to this.
Don't tell this to the actors. Don't tell this to the actors.
Yeah, now I know, but I couldn't tell you.
But in the back of my head, I suddenly remembered. We've still got the rest of the budget that still needs to come through, and we were so sure that it was a done thing. But then it got to a point the day before where we were like, it appears not to be coming. And I remember our actor Mark, coming from Scotland, Mark McCurdy, I was not going to let him, you keep it a secret from the actors. They don't need to know the ins and outs of all the going on behind the scenes, the financing, until it actually starts to affect them. And I couldn't let Mark get on the plane to come down from Scotland, because that would then be a huge...
That's a problem.
So before he was having his plane come up, I had to just be completely hardball with the investors and just say, if it's not paid in tonight, it's not happening. And I remember I went and had a meeting with Kane to go over all of the script, and in the back of my head, all I was waiting for was the transfer, the bank transfer to come through. And I was talking to him, trying to give him all this, it's going to be such a great shoot. He's asking me all these thousands of questions. In my head, I'm like, looking at my phone, give me the buzz for the money that's coming. And as soon as the meeting with Kane was over, ding, the budget was in the bank, and we all went ahead. But it put me in a headspace of, you want to commit to it, but then you kind of don't want to commit to it. You're going to be so heartbroken. So it put me in a headspace where, had I known 100% we had the money, then my headspace would have been more focused on the prep. I mean, in a way, and we'll talk about this a little bit later, but in a way, being adaptable and flexible on this shoot was a very good thing. To be rigid was not a good idea with the Barge People. Things had to just roll with the punches on this particular shoot. When it came to the casting, it was quite nice because the three of us actually got to do it together in person auditions in London, and got to sit and watch the candidates come through, which, I mean, I never do that now. It's all self-tapes. But I know we cast McKenna through that. I can't remember who else we cast that.
Yeah, she smashed that.
She was fantastic.
I think, didn't we get Mark that day? Oh no, you sent me a tape on Mark.
No,
Mark, we got tape.
Mark came later. Mark was really difficult. That was the part that we could not cast.
Yeah, he was last, wasn't he?
Yeah.
We couldn't find, and this is a tip for actors who are trying to put themselves out there and have a type, we could not find just your average man, like your average good boyfriend. Everyone has to look, when you're casting, everyone has to look like they're trying to be the next Brad Pitt, or they're trying to do, be the next Jason Statham. Everyone's got like an angle they're going for, a really pretty Leonardo DiCaprio. Nobody just wants to just be, I'm just your everyday, slightly
We
rugged
properly
boyfriend.
struck gold with him though, didn't we?
Absolutely struck
Like as a
gold.
person and an actor,
The minute we found him, we knew. But that was quite last minute as well.
I'd forgotten about that. Maybe I trauma blocked it. I don't know.
You've got to put in these deadlines, otherwise the thing just never gets off the ground, you know, and you just find the best person you can and put them in and struck gold.
I loved that experience though that you mentioned where we actually went and saw the actors come in and do it. And because from an acting perspective, you don't really know what is going on with a casting director's head when they're viewing these actors. So you always make it very personal and take a rejection as that you're no good. But seeing it from the other angle has really made me realise that it's not that you're not doing the job properly. It's that when someone comes in and they're right, it was unanimous. Like we knew straight away when McKenna started. We were like, we found it.
Yeah, and it's really helpful to have. I mean, I don't really like casting. That's why I very rarely now put out casting calls. I haven't really done. I've not done one in England in years because I prefer just to know people, and I like people through word of mouth. And
I remember you saying as well, like very often you would go out for a coffee or something with an actor to get an idea of the kind of because the whole experience of working on set so closely with someone was like really, really valuable, and I think that's a good tip.
It's so important to me that we all, you know, we've been sat here having these conversations and interviews, and we're talking about how much fun we have, and it's like family vibe. I want to create the family vibe, which you don't always have, but when you're working with a micro budget, and you know you don't have the comforts of even a room to yourself or decent catering or, you know, regular hours, when you're doing it indie, you could at the very least have it feel like a family.
At some point with other filmmakers I've known as well, they've said that like it just takes one slightly toxic cast or crew member to just say a little something that gets into the minds of the others to make them start thinking in that way as well, and before you know it, the whole thing is coming down. So you just got to be, I'm not saying everyone's got to be all like whoop-de-doo, like bells and whistles all the time, because there are tough days on set, but I think it's knowing that you're working with an actor that could communicate that to you, they can voice their opinion, you'll take it on board, but what you don't want is for it to start to spread around the whole camp, really, and like I say, it can just crush a production.
I do actually have a theory about that, which I tell people on sets, is filmmaking, especially indie filmmaking and micro budget, is so hard that everyone's having a good time, everyone's loving it and laughing. At some point, someone is always one. Someone always is going to turn around and go, well, everyone's giggling and laughing, but it's cold. I haven't slept properly. I had to sleep on the
Oh my God, I am that person. I know I am, because I'm always moaning about how cold I am.
Somebody always has to come along and be the person who goes, hang on a minute, this is hard. This is difficult. This is uncomfortable. Well, yeah, no shit, Sherlock. But, you know, until the day you are Tom Cruise, suck it up. You're going to have to deal with it. You know. But there is always one who, I think it's a psychological thing, because everyone's rising above it. Someone's got to go, am I the only one who feels like that a 15-hour day is a bit too long, and maybe I could have had a bed to myself last night, you know, or something like that. Someone always has to chip in and bring the mood down. Yeah. And you just, for me, I am always spying out which one it's going to be, so that I can go and
break first.
You see the person and you go up to them and you go, we'll go out and have dinner tonight. You know, it'll be on production, and then they think, oh, you know, that cures
the morale again. Yeah.
Or it can backfire and you try and be nice to someone and they just turn into an absolute dick.
I do actually find that really interesting, because I feel like on some of the films I've worked with you where maybe I was, I'm not always negative, by the way, I'm just putting that to the camera, but if there's been ones where I have like whinged about being too cold or whatever, have realised that was the exact point in my life maybe where I was coming away a little bit from the acting world, because I dip in and out in terms of how I feel about it. And I think maybe that was that starting to show through, is because I wasn't as enthused about things at certain times as maybe I should have been for whatever reason, life.
Well, it's tough. It's such tough work.
Yeah.
Unless you've actually made an indie film and been there, you cannot comprehend how tough all these actors had to work and all the filmmakers had to work. It is grueling. So
I think like actors really, when they look at applying for this work, rather than thinking, oh, I desperately want to act, I really want a gig, they really need to think, is this what I want right now? And am I willing to put up with however that is, without finding it too hard and wanting to pull the mood down as well. So.
Yeah. There's just never a need to start pulling the mood down, and people need to remember, even if you feel like, because I'm self-conscious that I work with a two-man crew, and I feel certainly with older actors, I feel them looking at me, and there comes a point when the going starts to get tough and they start to think, well, what even is this 2-man crew piece of shit? You know, is it even worth the effort? And the answer is, hey, you don't know. You could be making the next great thing. You don't know.
Yeah.
You know, it could be the best thing on your CV, or it could be the worst thing on your CV. But don't blow it. Don't go and blow your chances with this filmmaker, because I have had actors who have misbehaved and then treated me like I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And you kind of just rise above it. But then when they watch the film, it's always the same. I mean, I'm only speculating, but hey, why do they want to suddenly be my best buddy? Why do they show up at every single screening and write to me and come and want to act for me again? Let's talk about the actual shoot and our memories from the various parts. We had the canal, we had the set of the actual barge, and then we had the farm in the woods. What are our memories from the shoot?
Well, when you just said that then, I just remember I was like blown away on the day we went into the set of the barge. I was really excited about that. Just, seeing it felt plausibly like we were in a barge. Yeah. It felt like being on holiday with my mates. I was just so keen to get going on it. And also because, you know, on the canal and some of the people we bumped into whilst we were doing it, genuinely scared the shit out of me a little bit.
We started to live the movie.
It did. It did feel like
because the script was all about, you know, these city people have gone onto the canal and they're just making carnage, and then cut to here we are trying to make a film on the canal. I was even wearing, you know, the character Ben is like the biggest dick in the film. He's the posh one who has no respect for the canal. I was wearing Ben's sunglasses because we got in the most dorky sunglasses. I was wearing them because the sun was in my eyes, speeding the narrowboat up the canal.
They don't like it.
Getting people shouting at me, and I was like, I am literally Ben.
I remember.
I've come from the city to mess up their canal.
I remember my
life.
First night sleeping on the barge and just actually being a little bit scared because
you
text
me actually because I wasn't there. You said, "Oh, I can see what you're writing about."
It was a budgetary thing, but it was also a director thing.
Yeah.
To go, I'm actually going to have the cast just stay on the barge because they'll actually get the feeling. Because it was scary. I remember where we moored up and it was creepy.
Yes.
As I walked away to go to my nice warm bedroom in a house.
Yeah, cheers, Charlie.
Leaving you all guys, and I'm thinking, you know, the crickets are going and the water's rocking, and there is an atmosphere to the barge and the canal, you know.
Yeah.
Which you got to experience.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and obviously the set of the barge, it's the narrowboat interior. We knew we were going to destroy it, cover it with blood, throw people through walls, so we had to build it from scratch, that was like some of the most fun days.
That was really fun.
There's no, I love to build a set. There's no pressure. You're on a set. It's controlled. No canal people shouting and screaming at you.
Yeah.
Another challenge I remember was having to go through the locks.
Oh God, yeah.
Because you'd be going, right, I need to meet this actor back here at this time. But then you're going through a lock and then you're in a traffic jam of other boats.
I still remember you doing you turned the barge around.
Because maybe people who don't do canal trips, they might not know this, but you have to take the boat up until you get to a turning point. And sometimes, you know, you can't really be on... you can't really be on a schedule because you might need to be back there in an hour, but... Sorry, you're going this direction. You've got 3 more locks to do. They take 20 minutes each. Then you're going to have to do turn in the turning point, go all the way back. So I was just like, screw it. I'm going to make this canal a turning point. So full rev on the engine, banked us up on the side, took us into the back. I turned us around in the no turning point. That wasn't on the
training video. They fast tracked us on when we turned up. They're like, here you go. This is how you basically live on a barge for a few days.
Show up. Yeah, this is the rules of the canal.
Not to do it.
Get on the canal. We'll just do our own.
I'm pretty sure the first night we parked it alongside some electricity pylons. We could just so we're this doesn't feel safe.
And then you realise why they don't make movies on the canal.
And on top of that, I remember just losing bits of equipment. We'd be going along, undoing a clamp, and bloop, that's gone forever. Losing bits and pieces because we're all I was the sound man on the movie as well as directing, and Michael did the cinematography. I'm hanging off the edge of the barge with the boom pole. You're sat on there. Michael's there. it was just, the whole thing was just a bit precarious.
I remember it was lovely to meet Nat as well for the first time, because she was just like really bubbly straight away, and she was taking like a lot of the still photography as well.
Yeah.
But straight away she was just really affectionate with me and stuff, and I was like, this is cool, because we're obviously being sisters and that. But yeah, and again, just meeting an actor like that, you just know that you're gonna work really well with them. Which so that was a good first impression of getting together with the gang as well. So.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was the first time doing your script, like doing somebody else's script. For me, it was a tough shoot, and learning to be adaptable and flexible was like a major thing that I learned on this film, because we were so out in the elements. Like I say, you're on the canal, you're going up the locks. You know, we added in scenes like in the lock and the way you film it and stuff like this. Everything, you just had to roll with the punches and adapt to this film. But I remember being down on the farm, we got hit with the worst weather.
Oh my God.
Sometimes Storm Brian or something.
Fire-nado, wasn't it?
You'll see in the film, there is like, a swirling tornado of smoke, of like the smoke machine, because it was
put it in the film,
it was hurricane winds. And I will say, at the time, I thought I had lost my grip on this film entirely. It's probably the only time I felt it making a film, because all I remember is rain, mud, wind. I'm trying to do the sound. All I can hear is wind. I'm trying to get focus on, an actor, trying to sort out people's makeup and hair. The hair's blowing this way, that way, mud on the lens, rain in the lens, and I thought, I don't even actually know if we even have anything. We're just going to get home and the film's just going to be mud smeared on the lens, rain in everyone's face, wind in the microphone. I thought, we're screwed. We've really made a mess of this. And then comes to the editing, and you fix all that, you fix all the problems, and that is what I love the most about the film, is you feel the wind.
It's wild.
You feel the wind, you feel the mud, you feel the rain, you feel the snot and the tears on Kate's face,
I've always got snot on my face.
If there's one thing I take away from this film that I like about it now, it's the atmosphere. Like, I feel like I watch it again and I feel like I'm in those woods and I'm on that canal. I feel the electric pylons and I feel all of that.
Oh, you don't have a fucking clue.
What the fuck was that?
It taught me that to just get out in the elements, and we talked about Chainsaw Massacre, and that's what you feel in Chainsaw Massacre, the sweat and the stink and you just feel it, you feel the heat of Texas.
Yeah.
We were trying to put a bit of that into Barge People. Like, the films I watched going into it for my preparation was, I remember I watched Long Weekend, which is a really good exploitation film about people at war with nature, and all the close-ups of spiders and birds and all the
backdrop kind of becomes like a character in itself, doesn't it?
And when I was making this, I was always thinking about that. I was where's the muddiest patch I can put Kate and McKenna to roll around in, because you want to feel that. But at the same time, there was the night shoots and the cold. We shot in October the 5th to the 23rd.
I remember watching The Wrong Turn as well. We
watched it on set.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. I love that one.
Yeah. One of the criticisms that first we got from distributors when we were trying to sell the movie, but then we also have got it from reading reviews, is that it's a very slow to get going movie. What are your feelings, Chris, on a slow to get going horror movie?
I never thought it was slow to get going. I mean, I'm always conscious about pacing and structure and stuff like that. But you need to get kind of like drawn in with the characters to kind of feel that you're going on this ride with these people and that you care about them. Because, you know, the films that you don't like are usually that the characters, you don't care about if they get killed. You don't care if Leatherface is going to chop their head off or something. You know, you just don't really care. So I wanted to... And that, you know, you need that in the kind of the setup, right?
Yeah, I fully agree. Like I like, you know, I love horror films from the 70s and the 80s. These are the golden age for horror for me. I don't really see much modern horror at all that I like. And they all are slower to get going.
You still had the hard opener though, with the jogger getting killed, and you know that brilliant bit where the first creature drags, you know, the body down into the barge, then the title, and then it slows down a bit, like you say, to get to know the characters. And again, from an acting perspective, like we want to play a character, we want people to care about us before we're put in these scenarios as well.
There was a sense of them being watched, and something's going to happen, and then the encounter, the first group.
Someone said something recently. I was watching an interview or behind the scenes, and someone said something along the lines of, people moan about the setup, because, you know, why do we need all that? Just get to the horror. But they notice it if it's not there. Yeah, like if it's not there, you notice it. You can't just get rid of it. You have to set things up. Yeah, you know. Even when I was re-editing Cannibal Farm to make it 20 minutes shorter and chop it down and get to the horror quicker, which that film really needed to, I still then went and had to keep, as I watched it again, kept putting bits back in because I just could not chop out. I wasn't being precious of the scenes. I just was watching the horror thinking, but I don't care anymore about the sister and the brother, and I needed to put it back in. So I do think it's essential. And I've also always had a really difficult time with cold open scenes. Personally, for me, I hate it. Every script I've done kind of has like a cold open that usually the distributor has said, you've got to have this bit of action at the beginning. In the first 5 minutes. Honestly, every film I've done it, I've completely messed it up. Because it just isn't in my soul to do it. Like Winter Skin, you're in the first chunk, just 10 minutes had to be cut off, or I just went with a little 2-minute bit. And then Werewolf in England, you came to film and be in, just had to scrap the whole thing. I can't do these cold opens. They just feel, why do I care about some random person coming on? I just really, as a viewer, I really don't. I only care about the characters, the ones that we've set up over the course of 20 minutes. Yeah. I'm not interested in randomer coming in.
Yeah.
Well, that's one of the things I am disappointed with the film, is that we didn't shoot more of the Max, Jade's brother. Right, yeah. We did. There was a couple of scenes that we you know, for one reason or the other, we didn't do. So that you know, that's a part of the setup, the emotional setup. So when he does die, you can feel the emotion there, but it's kind of lost a little bit, I guess, because he's not in it as much as we would have liked, unfortunately. Yeah,
it was because it was a 17-day shoot. It was like quicker than my other films. Yeah. And the time was against us, and even there were definitely things that ended up getting not filmed. I remember filming a whole chunk of stuff in the woods and then going, guys, this just isn't going to work, because the wind and the rain was so much. So I called it a day. McKenna and the other actors couldn't believe that I was just calling it a day because we didn't have many days. But the next day we just completely redesigned it to be in the barn. Yeah. And then we shot in the barn where we could at least be undercover. Yeah. So this is what I mean by being adaptable. The other thing I learned from this film was, you know, it was your script and not my script, and I'm there and I've just spent 4 hours filming a scene where people are ordering their drinks at the bar, and this is actually a compliment, but it's going to be sounding like a roundabout compliment. But I was watching it and doing it thinking, I've agreed to do someone else's script, but I've just filmed 4 hours worth of people ordering drinks at the bloody bar, going to the toilet, and I thought in my head, you don't get this on my scripts. On my scripts, every second someone's got a backstory and a revelation and a twist, and you didn't know this and you didn't know that. Anyway, this is where the compliment comes in. You come to watch the finished product, those scenes, you just feel like you're having a good time with these people, and they were absolutely essential. And you look back now, it's been 7 years, 8 years.
Yeah.
You look back now, and I look at my 2 films prior to The Barge People. The storylines are so convoluted. The writing is so overloaded with way too much random information. And I think I felt as a writer, I couldn't even in one sentence let it just not be doing writery things. But this film and your script taught me that they can go to the bar, they can hang out, they can chill, they can do all this, because that's life, and that is fully acceptable in a horror film. And what felt really mundane at the time is actually like some of my favourite scenes now in the film, where you just get to hang with the cast and you get to fall in love with these characters. And I've actually learnt the value of that. If I'd not done The Barge People, my scripts might be some convoluted 3-hour long, God knows what going on backstory. So it really taught me that lesson. What were your thoughts on the end result? We'd met, we talked about it. We were all very involved all the way through. From the minute the script came along, we were all very involved in this process. What did we think of the end result?
Yeah, I mean, I was very pleased with it. I mean, I was disappointed, and like you've just said about the weather constraints and all that sort of stuff, I totally get that and appreciate what you did creatively to kind of change the scene. That's all great. Just the couple of scenes that were missed, and also the ending just didn't. But that was just constraints and whatnot. It didn't really come out the way I wanted. Although I do love the ending, it just wasn't quite what I imagined in terms of I think it was, if I remember, we didn't have enough people there to do,
because you wanted all the silhouettes.
That's right. I certainly remember that in the script there were some really good images, like
almost like the fog, like the
the fog was,
at the end of the end that you come out of the pub, and the idea was this fog and all these silhouettes of not just a couple of barge people, but there's many barge people.
Of them.
Yeah.
But then budget comes along.
There weren't any people around at that point.
Tim's there with a rubber butcher knife, and that's all you got.
But that's, and the music was fantastic. And
the soundtrack of this film.
I love that. I love the soundtrack.
I mean, I didn't make the soundtrack. It was my composer Sam Benjafield. So I can objectively, just as a fan of horror music, say this is a great soundtrack of this movie.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Where's Sophie? Where's Sophie? I promised my mum I'd let go. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I froze. That bastard was right there. He moved right at the last minute. I killed Ben.
I mean, and then also we had the screenings, and it was shown in Bristol, and then we had the screenings in London, and it's just like the way it was received. And then and I mean, those screenings, a lot of it was people that we knew, or friends and stuff like that, but it's still nice to hear all that. And what was even better was getting into Fright Fest.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
And how it was received there. I mean, people were saying it's one of their favourites of that, of Fright Fest that year.
Yeah.
And I've still got the screenshots. So.
I'd always wanted to get a film into Fright Fest. I submitted Cannibal Farm to Fright Fest. I submitted House of Violent Desire to Fright Fest. I was desperate to get something, because Fright Fest is, especially when you're living in London, is the horror festival of the UK. And so I got in with the Barge People. I was thrilled. It was great to be included, great to be involved in Fright Fest, and for people other than your friends and family to sit in the room and watch it with them. And it did go down well.
It did go down. It was amazing. But yeah, I mean, you did an amazing job with the film, and I was really, really happy with it. Really happy.
Good.
Yeah,
I was happy.
I've always been pleased with that film, and I said this to Chris on the way here. Like, I still watch it at least once a year.
Oh, wow.
I love it. I enjoy it, and I've said several times with our other interview as well. I always want to be involved in stuff that I would want to watch, and much like you said before, I also kind of don't care if that's not a decision that everyone, if other people don't love this film, that's up to them. But I am proud of it. I like it. I love the soundtrack, like you said. I love the edit. I enjoyed the characters. I enjoyed the experience of working on it. I'm proud of it, and I'll happily show that to my friends again turn it on when they come around. Oh, let's just chuck this on, shall we? You know, I like to show it to them, and I don't do that with a lot of the stuff that I worked on. But I do like this one.
For me, when I was finished with it, I really did like the results, and I felt like I'd made just this isn't again, it's not a criticism, but just like it felt like more of a typical horror film compared to. I feel like I was trying too hard to not make a horror film, not make not follow the formula too much. And not that this film does, there's loads of originality in there, but it just felt like you watch it and it's like this. I would have watched this on VHS as a kid. That's how I felt.
That scene with the first proper big barge attack as well, with everything coming together, the energy, the pulsing music, like it still gives me like an adrenaline rush now watching it. It's just absolutely manic. It's fun, it's a good time, and it doesn't take itself too seriously.
Yeah. Growing up, what were like the ultimate horror movies for you guys? Like your horror fans, what were the ones?
Probably my favourite horrors of all time is Hellraiser 1 and 2. Again, influences on Barge People. And I really love The Hills Have Eyes, the remake. I think it's better than the original, so I'm going to get some hate from Wes Craven fans now. I
agree. And I think you and me kind of like, we bonded over the fact that we both love this Hills Have Eyes remake.
I think
way better than the Wes Craven one, in my opinion.
Mine would be Halloween one, the original. Nightmare on Elm Street. I was absolutely terrified of that. I watched most of these things before I was old enough to be watching these kind of things, but it definitely didn't have an overly negative impact on me.
Well, I think that's the best time.
Yeah.
I think kids, nothing's scary when you're an adult, for me anyway.
Yeah.
I think, like you look at age ratings, this is an 18 rated film. Had I not watched, Halloween at age 14, my life wouldn't be the same. My love and passion and obsession for horror wouldn't be the same.
Yeah. And American Werewolf in London. Some of the scenes in that have had like an impact on me throughout most of my life. So maybe I was a bit traumatized watching them a bit too young. It was all the nightmare sequences, as I know I've spoken to you about in the past. But they just kind of stayed with me. And I suppose slightly more recent, The Descent.
You cannot fault The Descent. That is a great British.
And I had a chance to watch it not so long ago with Neil Marshall and actually asking questions about it afterwards. So that was awesome.
Any insights?
He just kind of reinforced the fact, because I asked him if it was if the basis of the film was all about female trauma, and he's like, absolutely, that is what it's about at its core. So the horror film is kind of the shell of it, but it is about female trauma and betrayal and this, that, and the other there.
Cool. Well, thanks for talking about the Barge People with me
you
too.
It's been good to reminisce.
Yeah, absolutely.
Memory lane.
It got released to DVD in America, and I've got a German Blu-ray somewhere, but I like the little slip cover that they did. Just have a little look at that. You think you can still get the copy of that in America, but we never did get a UK
that is awesome,
release, which is why this new special edition release of it is something we've been wanting to do.
I don't know about you, the amount of people that ask me, is it out in the UK?
If it's any film of mine, if I do have any fans out there, it's usually the Barge People they ask me about.
Wow.
Yeah, I love that. That's really cool.
Because to be honest with you, I don't go on IMDb checking the reviews.
Probably for the best. I mean, I don't either. But
as long as there's people out there that enjoy it, then great.